my old friend Lori Bingen likes to say, look who's here. Wow. We have a Township Supervisors convention of sorts going on here in the studio today. Dave Morgan is here from Pennfield. Hi there, Dave.
Howdy.
And also Tim Hill from Emmett Township. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
And Adam Heikkila is here from Bedford Township. First time for Adam. Hello there. Welcome, all of you. You know, we've talked with Tim on a number of occasions. Dave's been here a couple of times. And on all of those occasions, the notion that townships could work more together comes up. Even if we don't try to bring that up, it comes up. And so today we'll talk about what that means to all of you. But to start the new year, maybe we can start by talking with each one of you about what you think the priorities are right now in 2017. Tim, you want to start with that?
Well, we've decided that we're going to annex Bedford and Pennfield because they have new roads.
See, this is the way this has been going since these guys got here. It's been quite a little party. You're kidding, I think, right?
I'm kidding.
Yeah, okay.
Our priorities are infrastructure, obviously. We're trying to figure out ways to get the money to fix the roads. We're looking at some serious restructuring within the township itself. And we're also looking at economic development so we can get more businesses in the township instead of just being the hotel capital of the world, you know.
It's interesting because roads will probably come up for all of you in all of this, and each one of your townships has dealt with it in different ways. But this is one of the big things, infrastructure. You with that, Adam?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with Bedford Township, you know, we've got to focus as well on some infrastructure. Luckily, we've got the roads already taken care of, which is no longer a headache for me to deal with so much. But, you know, the sewer and water, we've got some expansion that we really got to look at in Bedford Township, you know, to just to grow a little bit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So some changes are definitely on the way.
Remind us how Bedford dealt with the road issue.
Bedford did a special assessment, and so you know, it was different if you had vacant land. It was $75, $150 if you have a building, a house on that property.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's set up for, I believe, I can't remember exactly the number of years on it, but it was something that the board had just decided upon. But we've got some great roads right now. So obviously
Yeah. And Dave, in Pennfield, what's number one on your list?
Well, in Pennfield, of course, our road issue also has been taken care of, which is great. Now, we do have statewide Act 51, which needs to be looked at, so there's more revenue sharing to the townships itself, because townships are the closest government to the people. So we should have more revenue coming in for the roads. Now, our roads are taken care of. Tim's working hard out in Emmett trying to get the road issue taken care of there. In Pennfield, economic development would be a big thing. We have the possibility of Walmart coming out in 2019 now. And then, of course, government has a responsibility to be a servant of the people. So we'll work on that. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, but it's true. I mean, we work for the people. The people that are listening to us today are driving, going to do their jobs, you know, and we need to do our jobs and represent the people wisely.
We'll talk with these gentlemen in a moment about what economic development means in the township setting. And as it relates to roads, can you get the attention of the state if the townships squeak loudly enough? We'll talk about that, too, coming up in a moment on WBCK. The townships are here. Dave Morgan, Pennfield, Tim Hill, Emmett, and Adam Heikkila, Bedford. We've been talking about cooperation and other things. Now, the Act 51, which we've talked about before, Dave has and Tim has with us, this is the I guess, Bible of how money for roads is disseminated in Michigan. It does not include townships. Now, Tim, you were here a while back and said you're going to lobby Lansing and say, hey, we want to be part of that. Have you had any reception to that?
So far, no. Obviously, it's because the Christmas season, everybody's busy and so forth. My goal for this year is to try and get townships put in Public Act 51. However, if it doesn't happen, then I am seriously looking at running for my Knopf seat. to introduce a bill for having us put in Public Act 51. The bottom line is this: is that the money goes to the county. The tax money you spend at the pumps goes to the county, and the county chooses how they can disseminate it to the townships. And they have in Public Act 51 from 0 to 50% they can put towards the townships. Well, the last few years, the county has voted to go from 50% down to 30% for Emmett Township. Therefore, we have to figure out a way to come up with the other 70%. I don't think that's fair. I really don't.
And the road solution that we've started paying for a few days ago.
We don't see it until what?
Yeah, this goes down the way. And in fact, MDOT told us last week, really when you balance all this funding out, we don't get a whole lot more.
Right.
So this is a problem that maybe some in Lansing might say, hey, we hear you, but we're trying to deal with the whole state here.
Well, see, that's the case in point. You've got the county that's dealing with all of the townships, and they have the state that's dealing with all of their roads. Put it back on the townships. Let us decide for ourselves. If we get the Public Act 51 money, let us contract out. Because the county contracts out with Huffman Brothers or whatever to do the roads, as far as to resurface the roads or whatever, and now they got some new equipment. Let the townships make that decision. There's no reason why the townships are not allowed to make that decision. And there's some pretty smart people here. So I think that Dave or Adam, they can, with their boards, can come up with some pretty good ideas.
Agree, Dave?
Well, yeah, and I agree. We're pretty smart. One thing, even in Pennfield, our road issue, Bedford's dealt with theirs. But the thing is, it's not over yet because we don't want to be back in the same situation we were in. And so we've got to look at long-term funding from the state and a long-term solution and long-term plans to maintain our roads to the standard they're at now.
I like the idea you're going to put toll roads in Pennfield.
Oh, yeah.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
What do you think, Adam? It's great to be in the position that Pennfield and Bedford are in here with roads, but Dave makes a point that doesn't go away. We keep driving on them.
Absolutely. That's one thing that I'm seeing a lot of is just planning in general, and not just for the short term, but those 5, 10, 15 years out. What are we looking at? How are we going to, make sure that we're, like we said, not in the same position here where 30 years later we're finally getting roads redone.
Right. Economic development. What does that mean to Bedford Township? What if you could write a list of 3 or 4 things you'd like to see built or come to your township, what would they be?
A lot of that really is going to depend on some infrastructure. We don't have the sewer and water out in some of these areas that we really need to have in order to, entice some of these businesses that will come out. And so it's, like we said in the beginning, it's looking at some of the infrastructures and how those need to get expanded so that we can really have more opportunities for businesses in general. And so I think we're just at a little different planning stages than where Emmett and Pennfield are. So.
Right. And when we talk about infrastructure for expansion, is that like, I don't know, that 65-inch television you want? It's on the list, but it's way down there.
I thought I saw that in your office.
Not in my office.
Yeah.
These are, I've got a lot to learn here. I'm new to all of this. And so, some of my first steps are still really just grasping everything that is going on. And, I hope to have a firm grasp of that within the first year here. And, we'll really gain some traction and movement here after the first year, I think.
So, Dave, is Walmart the number one thing on Pennfield's list for economic development?
Well, Walmart's one, but we're open to anything. Everybody has different expectations and different things they'd like. One of the greatest things we can do, though, is us working together. And right now in Calhoun County, we've got a great group of elected officials, from Mike Knopf to John Bizon, State Representative Bizon Matern, and then with us. And, for instance, on the 10th of this month, we're having a meeting at Pennfield. Tim will be there. Adam will be there. We have Nate Henney coming.
Oh, good old Nate, yeah.
Yep. And, many people. Kelly Scott from the county will be there.
She's awesome.
Yep, she is. And Steve Frisbee will be there. And we're just going to look at different areas that maybe we can possibly work together where the buying power something as simple as fire hoses, which are extremely expensive. If we all go in together and make a purchase, we're going to get a much better deal. So on the 10th, we're going to all come together. Now, I don't think that's ever happened before. And we can talk about, the possibilities of a metro fire department. Bring in, we all have fire departments. We're all, doing the same thing pretty much and buying the same material. So
this is, I presume, what the governor said years ago now when he said, listen, we're in a downturn here. We were at the time. You're all going to have to start thinking about new ways to make things happen, and that means going beyond your borders. Is that the way you see it, Tim?
I do. We like to help out local townships. For example, Newton, a lot of their firemen are on our department as well. And so with Dave and Adam here, I see some great possibility, not just as far as municipal cooperation regarding fire or police or whatever, but I see a lot of economic development opportunities there.
So what's number one on your list for economic
development?
Everything. Yep. Everything's open.
Everything's open. No, we're working on the industrial park. We're also working on when the new hotels come in, trying to help that transition, because when you build a new hotel, you've got project managers that they go through, a lot of project managers just for one hotel. So we're going to try and help those new hotels come in to build a little bit easier and cut their costs. There's some areas that we're trying to work on. Waddles Park area, the Delrays, we're trying to get that taken down this year, and the old bank, we're trying to get that taken down over there, and Waddles in East Michigan. So we've really moved forward with working on a lot of our dangerous buildings as well. We're also looking at some infrastructure improvements as far as water and sewer, and also down the road, possible sewer plant to help cut our cost.
Metro Fire Department, as Dave mentioned, tell us what that means for each of you then to have a centralized kind of authority like that.
You want to start, Dave?
Well, I think it just brings everybody. We have a fire. Tim Smith's our fire chief out of Pennfield. Yeah, he's a great guy. And Olson out at your place is.
And also Tony Geigel's is really more of our fire chief over there. But you're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, great group of people, but we duplicate a lot of the services. So if we can come together, it doesn't mean get rid of the Pennfield Fire Department or the Emmett Fire Department. It just means bringing people closer together and maybe not duplicating services and doing it the most effective way we can financially for the people we represent.
So a Metro Fire Department could be one in which all of you are contributing a cost, but a lesser cost.
Well, if you look at, for fire department, they've got a certain distance that they are effective. And where Emmett is, on Cliff Street, there is a fire department down the street from us, which is the Battle Creek Fire. I mean, that's probably, you could throw a football that far.
Right.
There's really, and we're not talking about laying people off. No, you're talking about reshifting everything so you can get the best coverage, be it that fire that is started, and get it out a lot quicker and save possible firemen lives as well as residents' lives. It has nothing to do with, trying to get rid of anybody. It has everything to do with saving lives and also being effective. So that's why we're looking at it.
Are there other ways to do this in other areas?
Well, I mean, we've definitely talked. I mean, anything that we can look at coming together to have a bigger pool essentially to pull from. Things like possibly like our insurance, our health coverage for all of our employees. I mean, that's a major one right now across the board for everybody. No matter what industry you're in, it's the health costs and benefits are a major cost to employers, and so that's just one of the other major areas that we've discussed exploring right now. So.
And this meeting, Dave, that you talked about, where all of the minds are going to come together and put these ideas on the table, these are the things you're going to talk about. Is that true?
Yeah, those are some of the things. One of equipment issues, too. I think Emmett has a ladder truck. We have a ladder truck. You guys have one. Everybody has one. They're $1 million+ a piece,
ours was
right?
pretty expensive, but we have the big hotels at the casino we had to get up to. So.
Right. So, the fact we're duplicating to that level, to me doesn't make a lot of sense. I think we can do things, and it's not about getting rid of, what we have. It's about making it better and more efficient.
Tim, how does the Firekeepers Casino revenue sharing issue affect Emmett in the grand scheme of things? I mean, do you guys look at that and say, man, I wish we had that here? Or do you say, well, it helps, but it's not a whole lot different? How do you look at this?
We get about $450,000. The majority of that goes to the police department because of staffing and stuff. The casino revenue sharing has been a pretty good deal for us. The lion's share goes to the schools. They get about $2.1 million per year, give or take. And that makes us happy because Harbor Creek is a very good school system. We want to keep them, we don't want them to decrease, and we want to keep them healthy. So we're very happy to have that kind of opportunity for a revenue source.
Yeah, right. Can we build some more?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because when the roads would have passed the 3 mills, we would have received. This is what my opponent kept saying to me: is that, well, you don't have any maintenance plan. Well, we do. If we had 3 mills, you're looking at about $300,000 additional funding from revenue sharing per year that we could have used towards the roads. But my opponent was so adamant about getting elected, he just didn't look at the big picture. So it's based upon millages, is what it's based on.
Mm-hmm. All right, interesting. Well, we will reconnoiter sometime soon and talk about how your collaborations come along, and this meeting that you referred to where all of you are going to get together and start talking more. This should be interesting to talk about in the future, I would think.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to be at Lux in about 20 minutes. So.
All right, it's 8:28 in case you're keeping track of what time it is, and meet up in that 20 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, thanks to all of you for your time today, and we'll stay in touch.
All right, have a great day.